What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Jellygoon TV. Welcome back to all you beautiful people on YouTube. Today we have a very special video, but before I get to that, I want to say that I have a Patreon that I started up. So go down and down below. You can sign up for $2 to support the channel. Of course, you could donate whatever you want, of course. But yeah. Anyway, I have a rap channel too, AnxiousRapTv. Go over, check it out. There's 2 songs, beautiful and fake rappers. And there's a Twitter down below as well if you want to chat or there's some brain deals or something. Today we have another comment request, but this video is very special for me. It's 50 minutes long, and there's this comment right here. There's 2, a little sub comment. So this one says, make reaction to Alexander the Great by Epic History. And then one of my subscribers said, yes please, such a great series, I really recommend it, Jelly. So yeah, you know what it is, man. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna go out in it. This is 50 minutes long, so bear over with me, and I hope you enjoy this. So without further ado, let's just get into this one and see what it's all about. Alexander the Great, all parts. Let's go.
In 334 BC, Alexander, king of Macedonia, began one of the greatest military campaigns
Oh wow, they
in
got it
history
from Total War, right?
against the superpower of the age, the Persian Empire.
Oof.
Just 20 years old,
Persian
his
Empire, the
brilliant
heyday.
and fearless leadership won him battle after battle. And in an astonishing 10-year campaign that took him to the edge of the known world, he carved out one of the largest empires ever known.
Wow. What
Few
a great.
men have had such a massive impact on the course of history. To the Persians, he was Alexander the Accursed.
Let me pause here. I like the way that he uses Total War to explain the war and everything, so we can see it, so we get a perspective on it. I really do dig it. Alexander the Great was actually, took over the world, like he said, man. That's crazy. He didn't really take over the world, but he put the Persians back, man. He pushed them back, man. That's crazy, man. But I really do like it so far, man. Really great with the Total War gameplay going too. So, yeah. Let's see where Alexander the Great is taking us. Let's go.
But to the west, he was immortalized
Woo.
as Alexander the Great.
Part 1. Okay.
Ancient Greece. From around 500 BC, this rugged land was the scene of remarkable developments in art, philosophy, and warfare. Its 2 greatest city-states were Athens, a naval power where democracy, art, drama, and philosophy flourished.
Let me pause here. I'm actually playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey or whatever they called. And this is in this period. Now, it's a beautiful game, I just have to say. Go check it out, I highly recommend it. It's a beautiful game that happens in the Roman Empire and basically the Athenians and all this stuff. And the Sparta. You get to see the Spartan, get to fight for the Spartan against the Sparta, of course. So, yeah, go check that game out. But this is beautiful, very beautiful. Yeah, but let's get into it. Let's go.
And Sparta.
Yeah, Sparta.
A militaristic society, famed for its formidable army.
Some great soldiers.
In 480 BC, these 2 city-states had joined forces to fight an invasion by the mighty Persian Empire. At the narrow pass of Thermopylae, a small Greek force led by 300 Spartans held up the enormous Persian army for 3 days before they were finally encircled and killed.
Let me pause here, man. That's the crazy story about 300. That's amazing. Now, I know the story. I basically think, like, it was 300 Spartans, but there were some allies, but I don't think they came to the rescue or something like that. I really don't know, but I really do think that the Spartans was there, but they have some allies and fought, like, people they kind of, like, it's not really 300, because there's other people there to help, but I really don't know the history yet. So, yeah, but it's beautiful. It's cool as fuck. Spartan people are just, wow, soldiers especially. So, let's go.
Then, in the Straits of Salamis, the Greek fleet defeated the Persian navy.
Wow, there's some big shit.
But they couldn't prevent the Persians burning the sacred temples of the Athenian Acropolis. The next year at Plataea, the Greeks won a decisive land battle against the Persians, and forced them to abandon their invasion.
Wow. How crazy
The
is
next
that?
50 years were the golden age of classical Greece. But rising tension between Athens and Sparta and their allies eventually led to war, dragging the Greek world into decades of destructive fighting.
Yikes.
Wars between the Greek city-states continued for almost a century,
Wow.
leaving them exhausted and vulnerable to a new rising power to the north. For centuries, sophisticated Greeks had viewed the mountainous kingdom of Macedonia as a backwater, Hicksville, barely Greek at all. But under King Philip II, Macedonia emerged as a formidable military force. His most famous reform? The introduction of the sarissa, an 18-foot pike, twice the length of a normal Greek spear, and wielded by trained infantry fighting in close formation, known as a phalanx.
Wow. Phalanx.
In 338 BC, at the Battle of Chaeronea, Philip's army crushed the joint forces of Thebes and Athens. Through alliance and conquest, Philip had already gained control over most of his neighbours. Now, following this victory, he united all Greece in an alliance known as the Hellenic League, or League of Corinth, with Philip as hegemon, or supreme commander. Only Sparta stood aside. Philip began to plan a great campaign, a pan-Hellenic or all-Greek war against the Persian Empire. Their old foe was now an ailing superpower, its great riches ripe for the taking. But on the eve of launching his war, Philip was assassinated by his own bodyguard, victim of Macedonia's brutal
That is
rivalries.
crazy, man.
He was succeeded by his 20-year-old son, Alexander, brilliant, restless, tutored by the great philosopher Aristotle, and already an experienced military commander.
Nice.
Alexander inherited his father's grand plan to invade Persia, but first he had to secure his own position as king. At home, he had potential rivals executed, then crushed rebellions in Illyria, Thessaly, and central Greece.
Okay.
He made a special example of Thebes, completely destroying the ancient city and selling its people into slavery.
Whoa.
In the spring of 334 BC, now ready to launch his war against the Persian Empire, Alexander led his army across the Hellespont into Asia Minor.
Asia Minor.
It was the start of one of the greatest military campaigns in history.
The Macedonian army. Okay.
Alexander's army was about 40,000 strong, drawn from all parts of Greece. The infantry were commanded by
It's
the
so
veteran
nice. It adds a little bit
Macedonian
more
general
special to
Parmenion.
it. So nice.
In the front rank, 9,000 Macedonian phalangites, armed with the 18-foot sarissa. These were professional soldiers, well-trained and drilled, who formed up for battle in the phalanx, 16 ranks deep. This packed formation presented a solid wall of iron spear tips and was virtually unstoppable. But it was also difficult to maneuver and highly vulnerable to attacks on its flanks or rear. So 3,000 elite infantry, the hypaspists, or shield bearers, armed with shorter spears, guarded its flanks. They were commanded by Parmenion's son, Nicanor.
That is a great
Second line of
strategy, I just have to
Alexander's
say,
army
man. That's
was made up
beautiful.
of 7,000 Greek allies and 5,000 mercenaries, armed as hoplites. They took their name from the hoplon, their large round shield, and carried shorter 8-foot spears. A hoplite phalanx was not as effective as the Macedonian phalangites, but still well armed and heavily armoured for the time. The Agrianes were the army's elite skirmishers, expert javelin throwers from what's now southern Bulgaria. Other skirmishers from Thrace and Illyria were armed with javelins, slings and bows.
Let me pause here. It just gives a picture of this Total War gameplay, how big the army was and how it was. Like, I really do like this. Respect to history, epic history for this one. It really visualized everything that you see and how big the army actually was and how many soldiers actually fought. Now, I know there's not like 40,000 on this game map, but it really does help get us perspective into how big the army actually was and how many men it actually was. It was crazy, man. I really do love it. I dig it so much. But let's get into it. Let's go.
The shock troops of Alexander's army were the companion cavalry. 1,800 elite horsemen, armed with spear and sword, commanded by Philotas, another son of Parmenion. Alexander led the royal squadron in person. There were also 1,800 cavalry from Thessaly, commanded by Callas. 600 from other parts of Greece, led by Erigyeus, and 900 mounted scouts from Thrace and Paeonia, under Cassander.
Wow. That's a big-ass army! The Granicus. What is this?
The great Persian Empire was divided into provinces, called satrapies. Each satrapy was ruled by a governor, or satrap. Those in Asia Minor, now threatened by Alexander's invasion, met to discuss strategy. Memnon of Rhodes, a skilled Greek general in Persian service, urged them to avoid battle with Alexander. Instead, he advised them to use a scorched earth strategy, to burn villages and crops and withdraw to the interior. Alexander's army, he promised, would quickly starve. It was good advice, but the satraps were unwilling to lay waste to their own provinces without a fight.
Wow. Oh, okay. Of course, this is their money. It's the food.
So they decided to face Alexander's army at the river Granicus.
Oof.
The Persian army formed up behind the river, which was shallow but 60 feet wide with steep banks. Their front line was a wall of cavalry, about 10,000 horsemen from across the empire.
That's a lot of horsemen.
Medes and Hyrcanians from modern Iran, Bactrians from Afghanistan, and Paphlagonians from Turkey's Black Sea coast. Behind, in reserve, were the infantry, several thousand Greek mercenaries, a common sight in Persian armies at this time. These men fought for Persian gold, and were armed with the round shield and short spear of hoplites. The Persians may have been unsure if they could trust these men in combat against fellow Greeks, and so placed them at the rear. Alexander, determined to attack and destroy this Persian force before it could retreat, raced to the Granicus with his best troops. On his left wing he posted Thessalian, Greek and Thracian cavalry under Parmenion's command. In the centre were the massed spears of the phalanx, its 6 divisions commanded by Perdiccas, Koinos, Amintas, Philip, Meleager and Crateros. On the right, Alexander himself with the companion cavalry under Philotas, as well as the elite Hypaspists, the Agrianes javelin throwers, and the archers. Alexander, with 13,000 infantry and 5,000 cavalry in all, was probably slightly outnumbered. But ignoring advice to wait until dawn to cross the river, he ordered an immediate assault. He sent a squadron of companion cavalry to ford the river, followed by a regiment of Hypaspists and the Paeonian light cavalry. Alexander, calling on his men to show their courage, then led his right wing across the river.
Wow.
As they reached the middle of the river, the Greeks came under a hail of javelins, darts and arrows from the Persian
Of course,
line.
yeah.
Those that made it to the far bank were immediately charged by the Persian cavalry.
Let me pause here. I don't know if that was a great strategy, but I guess it's gonna kill them all. I don't know, man, but it's still a bad strategy because there's water in the middle of everything. So you basically have to figure it out really good, but of course it's Alexander the Great, so he will figure it out no matter what, right? That's what I expect, that's what I think. But let's just get into it, let's go. Let's see where it goes, man. Let's see if he dies or what happened. Let's go. There's many men who died, I'm pretty sure. Wow.
Alexander was in the thick of the fighting.
It's so much more interesting to see this one.
He attacked where the whole mass of their cavalry and leaders were stationed. Around him, a desperate conflict raged. Horses were jammed against horses, and men against men. The Macedonians striving to drive the Persians away from the riverbank. The Persians determined to prevent them crossing, and to push them back into the river. Alexander's attack seemed reckless, but he was buying time for the rest of his army to cross the river, including the irresistible Macedonian phalanx.
Let me pause here. See, this guy is fucking special, that's why. He was buying time because they focus on the flank. They focus on the flank like they already attacked, and then he come in with his spearman, and bah, motherfucker. It is what it is, because then you really don't have the flanks coming inside you. You know, coming inside you, that sounds wrong. But coming behind you or something like that, man. It's crazy, man. Let's get into it. Let's go. Woo, look at those spearmen.
Then, suddenly, Alexander was fighting for his life, charged by two Persian nobles. Rhoesaces rode up to Alexander and struck him on the head with his sword, breaking off a piece of his helmet. But the helmet broke the force of the blow, and Alexander struck him down with his lance. Then, from behind, Mithridates raised his sword against the king, but Black Clitus, son of Dropidas, anticipated his blow, struck his arm, and cut it off.
What?
Sword and
let me hold up here, man. That's a homie for life right there. That's a homie for life. I'm not even saying, I'm just saying that's a homie for life right there. He got your back. He got your back, man. He's ready to kill you. He's ready to strike. He's ready to fuck anybody who fucks with you, man. That's a homie for life, man. That's one homie that's down, man. Respect to that general. 100% respect. That's awesome. Let's go.
all.
Why these two looking at each other down below? They're like, hey, you wanna go?
Now the Greek army was across the river, and the Persian cavalry faced a wall of Macedonian spears.
No, you did not.
Most turned
What?
and fled. The speed and shock of Alexander's attack meant Persia's Greek mercenaries hadn't even had time to join the battle. Alexander, in a blood rage, or possibly regarding these Greeks as traitors, ignored their appeals for
Let me
mercy.
pause here, okay. One thing I really don't respect about this is that he didn't give him mercy. Because, you know, a lot of people, they do a lot of things for money. Even Alexander the Great did a lot of things for money, I'm pretty sure, man. He's not the perfect one, no matter what you say down in the comments down below. But I think it's kind of crazy. I understand it. Like, they treated his country bad. They basically gave a bad loyalty bond between Alexander the Great and the Greeks. And these guys, which just there for the money, man. It is what it is, man. But when you take the money, you better be ready to die, because this guy's not going to show mercy, apparently. So, yeah, let's get into it.
The mercenaries were surrounded on all sides and massacred.
That horse is just like, hey, let me get out of here.
Alexander had won a great victory. Asia Minor now lay at his mercy. But the Persian Empire was still a land of immense wealth and power.
They don't give up yet, I know that.
Already, it was mobilizing its vast resources.
Oh, that's a big-ass land, though!
If Alexander was to conquer this empire and take his place in history, he'd next have to face Darius, King of Kings himself.
I wish they had some Spartan soldiers with him.
Now, as Alexander approached Sardis, capital of the Persian province of Lydia, its commander surrendered without a fight. But before Alexander could advance further, he needed to neutralize Persian naval power. Persia had a powerful fleet with major naval bases around the eastern Mediterranean that could potentially cut his lines of communication back to Greece.
So how did he do that? Send his troops out, bah!
Rather than challenge the Persians at sea, Alexander decided to attack its nearest bases.
Smart.
The Greek coastal cities of Miletus and Halicarnassus. Both put up determined resistance, but were taken by winter.
Man. Let me just pause here. Alexander the Great is very great. Like, the name is so perfect. That's so smart, man. Instead of just meeting, like some kings, they would be so greedy and think that they're the best in the world. But this guy's smart, man. He thinks like, let me just take that goddamn harbor. What they gonna do? Let me take the harbor and focus on the ships after, because then the ships is out in the sea and they're gonna be like, man, moral is low, man. We can't do this. Like, they already took the goddamn port, so what do we have to fight for? Nothing, man. Let's turn around. That's crazy, man. Let's go.
The following spring of 333 BC, Alexander continued his advance into Lycia and Phrygia. At Gordium, he was shown the legendary Gordian Knot. A prophecy said that whoever could unpick it would rule all Asia. Alexander simply took his sword and sliced it in half.
Yo, that's crazy, man. Let me pause it. That's the funny thing about smart people and philosophies and all this stupid shit. Not this stupid shit. I love philosophy. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying this guy is just freaking amazing, man. The way that he just did it is so fucking savage you can't even understand it. Like, he got the power with him and he's like, untie this knot and everybody will know that you're the true one. Man, fuck this. I like that, man. That's great, man. That's a real king with strength, man. That's true. Let's go.
Meanwhile, Memnon of Rhodes, a skilled Greek
man, they already
general
that
in
far.
Persian service,
just look at that, man.
led Persian warships into the Aegean and captured the islands of Chios and Lesbos. But after Memnon's sudden death from illness, the offensive was abandoned.
They already have a lot of lands, you know? The Battle of Issus? Okay. It's not like issues, what?
18 months had passed since Alexander's army crossed the Hellespont and invaded the Persian Empire. Now, Alexander led his men into Cilicia and was soon poised to cross the Nur Mountains into Syria. But then, the main Persian army, led by King Darius III himself, emerged behind the Greek army to the north. Darius was determined to trap and destroy Alexander's army, which he outnumbered almost 2 to 1. So he blocked Alexander's only escape route by moving his army to the coastal plain near Issus, just 6 miles wide, from mountains to sea. The narrow battlefield would force Alexander to fight, but it also prevented Darius exploiting his huge numerical advantage. His army, by some estimates, was up to 100,000 strong, and contained some of the finest soldiers in his vast empire, including 10,000 of his own household troops, known as the Immortals.
Why is it always with the river shit?
His best cavalry were massed on his right towards the sea, where the ground was better for horses. His best infantry, his Greek mercenary hoplites, formed the center. Persian infantry formed his left.
Oh, so Persians actually... Oh, no, sorry, okay, sorry.
Alexander deployed his own army for battle, once again entrusting his left wing, nearest the sea, to Parmenion, with the Greek cavalry.
Oh, sorry, the Persians are blue, Alexander the Great is white.
In the centre, as always, was the Macedonian phalanx. Alexander positioned himself and his best troops on the right wing, toward the mountain slopes.
Let me pause here, man. I just want to say this is going to be a great battle. Like, there's so many people in this army. Like, this is one of the juicy historical battles, I think, man. But it's kind of funny that Alexander the Great is always fighting near water. Like a river. He has something with a river. I don't know. Maybe it's just the Persians who think, like, they're going to capture him like that. But, wow, it's going to be a great battle, man. It's going to be made losses. And I'm sorry about that. Rest in peace to all the beautiful soldiers who actually wanted to fight this. It's horrible, but anyway, let's just get into it. Let's go.
His elite Agriane javelin throwers, his archers, and behind them the Hypaspists and the companion.
So they're going to move in first, not going to take the middle, right? I don't know.
When Alexander saw the strength of the Persian cavalry facing Parmenion on the left, he moved across his Thessalian cavalry to reinforce him. Despite his overwhelming numbers, Darius held his position behind a small river, the Pinarus, and waited for Alexander to attack.
No. Let me pause here, man. Alexander the Great is like a psychopathic killer. Like, not a psychopathic killer, but he's like a great man. He's a lion. He's gonna hit you first, man. He's gonna come in with that infantry. He's gonna bust your ass open. That's it, man. And if he falls a great guy, like a victory guy, like a king, man. That's crazy. But let's get into it. Let's go.
Wait long. Alexander called out to his men, urging them to fight bravely, picking out some by name. Then, at the head of his army's right wing, he charged.
Let's get it!
Once again, the speed and shock of the Macedonian advance sent the enemy reeling back. But in the center of the battlefield, the Macedonian phalanx was in trouble. In its effort to keep up with Alexander, its formation had become disordered. Now, in fierce fighting with Darius's Greek mercenaries, the phalanx was slowly being driven back.
Wow, that's a great fight.
Alexander, seeing the danger, regrouped and led the companions in a headlong charge straight at
this guy's going straight for the heart. He don't care, man. He's going straight for the heart.
The Greek mercenaries, threatened on their flank, were soon in disarray, and the Macedonian phalanx was able to resume its advance. Alexander fought his way towards the great king Darius himself.
He's going for the throat. He's going for the throat.
Rather than face this apparently mad and fearless Macedonian king, Darius fled the battlefield.
What a
in his royal
pussy!
chariot.
What a fucking pussy!
Meanwhile,
Man,
the
die under
Macedonian
your
left
fucking
wing
country,
under
man.
Parmenion was in a desperate fight against the best of the Persian cavalry. If the Persians could break through here, they could envelop Alexander's army and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. But Parmenion and his troops fought doggedly.
Alexander the Great, let me pause here, man. First of all, Alexander the Great chose those commanders that he represent, like he represented death. He knows that they're gonna have his back no matter what. And that's the commanders he chose. Because they understand what this means. They understand what this fighting means. And they ain't gonna back down for shit. That's why. That's some loyal commanders you have. And that's the empire you gotta build up in real life too, man. You gotta have some friends around you that's loyal. And if you don't have it, trust yourself, man. But that's crazy, man. He really must trust them just to go through it. Like, just to kill him. So, yeah. Let's get into it, man. Let's go.
To hold the Persians at bay.
Crazy, man.
As the news that Darius had fled spread among his troops, they abandoned the fight and tried to save themselves.
I could imagine that, man. Many dead bodies. Much food for the birds, but I'm just saying.
Ptolemy, one of the Macedonian commanders, told Alexander there were so many Persian dead, His men had used them to fill a deep ravine, so they could cross over it.
What? Okay, let me pause here. The fucking Walk of Death Bridge, the Death Bridge, man. Stockpiling humans on humans and just walking over them like, hey, we built a bridge. Look, Alexander, we built a bridge. Yeah, you good. Like, that's crazy shit, man. That is amazing, man. That's not even amazing. That's creepy as F. A fucking floating bridge of dead people. That's crazy, man. Alexander the Great is crazy, man. But his soldier is crazy, sorry. Wow. Determined to win. I like that, though. But kind of creepy. Let's get into it. Son of a moon. Alright, next one. Come on, dog. The king fleets. Alexander the Great is just charging, man. Takes it.
The Battle of Issus was a stunning victory for Alexander. And amongst the spoils of victory were Darius's wife, mother, and 3 children, all taken alive.
Let me pause here, you see? What a great guy. What a great guy. Man, I have so much respect for this guy. It's unbelievable, man. You see? This is what I talk about. This is what I talk about to you motherfuckers. Even Alexander the Great did it. Don't kill women and don't kill children. Treat them good. Treat them good. That's why I'm telling you, man. It's great, man. What an awesome guy, I just have to say, man. Amazing. The Persian trying to set fire to their own lands. Crazy, man. Just, they don't give a shit. Let's get into it. Let's go.
And well treated by Alexander.
Come on, Alexander. Take Syria, man. Come on.
With the Persian field army in retreat, Alexander now turned to subduing the western territories of the Persian Empire.
Did he beat the fleet, though?
The next year, 332, the coastal cities of Phoenicia submitted to Alexander, ending Persian naval power in the Mediterranean. But the island city of Tyre resisted. Tyre's defenders fought bravely and skillfully, even when Alexander began building a causeway to the island, protected by 2 giant siege towers, which they counterattacked with fire ships. But after 7 months, the city walls were breached and Tyre fell. Most of its
But, let me pause it. One thing I forgot to say about Alexander the Great is that he sold a lot of people to slavery. I don't really dig that shit. But the king gotta do what the king gotta do. I understand that. But he actually let the parents live and the kids live, of course. But he did a lot of things, of course, every king in the world did. Trust me, they killed a lot of people and everything. Because basically, they weren't their people, so they really don't care. Like, they on a quest. They on a campaign to kill so many people as they can to put fear into the country. That's the point. It's like psychology, like warfare. You know what I mean? Like mental warfare. When you kill a lot of people, you know not to disturb Alexander the Great's army. You know not just to keep it away and just don't do anything and just submit, you know? That's the fear factor of it. The psychology, man. Let's get into it. Let's go.
Or enslaved.
Woo!
Gaza, too,
Where is he going,
was taken by siege. Alexander continued to Pelusium on the Nile Delta, where the Persian governor of Egypt surrendered the entire province to Alexander, along with the royal treasury.
Wow.
At Memphis, priests of this ancient land welcomed Alexander as their liberator from Persian rule, and crowned him pharaoh. At the mouth of the Nile, he founded a new city, Alexandria. Then travelled to the desert oracle of Siwa, where according to some accounts the priests welcomed him as son of Amun, king of the gods. Alexander returned east to Tyre, where in 331 BC he received news of trouble back home. Despite his great victories over the Persians, many Greeks regarded Alexander as a tyrant.
Let me pause here. That's where democracy came into the picture, right? They see this guy that he is actually killing a lot of people and doing this stuff. Now, I'm not saying... I'm just saying he's smart. Alexander the Great is very smart, like strategy-wise. He took over a fucking country, like the Persian army, for fuck's sake. Let's just realize that. But of course, it's not okay to sell slaves. It's not okay to, you know... This is crazy, man. But of course, democracy is gonna come. They have the democracy, but people, they basically don't like it because they call him a tyranny, of course, because, you know, he takes over shit. let me move on. Let's go.
King Agis of Sparta,
Oh.
with Persian support, now launched a revolt against Macedonia. Antipater, Alexander's commander in Greece, was already dealing with rebellion in Thrace. But he quickly marched south and met Agis in battle near the city of Megalopolis. Even the legendary Spartans were now no match for Macedonian military power. The Spartan army was crushed. King Agis himself was among the fallen. With his base in Greece secure once more, Alexander advanced towards the Persian heartlands,
Alright, let's get
seeking
it.
a final showdown with Darius. He received a letter from the Persian king offering him a fortune in gold, his daughter in marriage, and half his empire in exchange for peace. But Alexander's stunning victories, all the oracles and acclamations, had now
Alright, let me
convinced him.
pause here. Okay. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna add this up to 2 pieces because I have to go to bed. I have to go to school tomorrow. Sorry, but we're gonna put it up in 2 pieces. But as far as go with the story, it's just crazy to see, man. I really do dig this Alexander the Great because he was very smart and he actually had this in life that he wanted to do something and then he actually did it, and that's actually very amazing to see, man. I really admiring. Of course, it's not admiring that he sells slaves and he did all these stuff, and you know, people of course call him a tyranny because, you know, he did the things that he did. But it's kind of crazy, man. But anyway, guys and girls, if you like this video, please hit the like button down below. And if you really want to help the channel, please do subscribe and hit that notification bell. We almost at 1,000 subscribers, and I just can't tell you how much I enjoy and appreciate all you beautiful, beautiful people. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. But anyway, we're going to go to part 2. But I'm going to move on into the next video. Peace.